Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a tag video. I have not done a tag video in such a long time, but when I came across the audiobook tag, I knew I had to do it because audiobooks is something that is a big part of my reading, and it is something that I have been wanting to talk about anyways. So the original creators are Book Buds, and I will have their channel linked down below. But I actually saw a different creator, Kim Reads and Reviews, do this tag. That's what inspired me to do it. So I will have her tag video linked down below in case you guys are interested. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So question number one is, do you listen to audiobooks? If not, why? Yes, I do listen to audiobooks. Now, I did not listen to audiobooks prior to starting my Booktube channel. And that is because I never really thought that I would be able to have the attention span to really pay attention to an audiobook from start to finish. I'm kind of one of those people that will put like something on in the background, like a podcast or something, and usually my mind will wander, but it's nothing that I really have to sit and pay attention to every single detail. And so anytime I thought about audiobooks, I was just like, I don't know if that's gonna be for me, because I know sometimes when I tend to listen to stuff, my mind tends to wander and I'm afraid that I'm gonna miss important details. But after the first time I listened to an audiobook, I had a great experience with it. And so from then on, I have really enjoyed listening to them, and I have not had any issues with feeling like I'm not able to pay attention to them like I thought I was before. The next question is, has your use of audiobooks changed over time? If so, why? And I'm gonna say yes, it has changed. And that kind of goes back to question number one. I tend to listen to more audiobooks because of my Booktube channel. Now that I am making content centered around telling you guys about the books that I read, I now need to be consuming a lot more books so that I will have continuous things to talk about. And for me, audiobooks are a way for me to get through books faster. Now, I'm not one of those people that will listen to audiobooks at like 2.5 or above speed. I can't do that. It sounds like people are talking in cursive. I stay in the 1.5 to 1.75 speed range. That usually works for me, but I can finish an audiobook within a couple of days. I'm also not one where I can sit and listen to an audiobook for an entire day, like finish one in a day. Now, there have been times where I have been able to do that, but most of the time I am finishing an audiobook over the span of like 3 or 4 days. The next question is, how do you choose which book will be read versus listened to? So the two genres that I typically listen to audiobooks for is romance and mystery thrillers. For me, those are the easiest to get through because I don't feel like I have to listen to every single minute detail. Now, when it comes to mystery thrillers, depending on the type of story you have, that might be a little different because at a certain point, you know, when all the twists and stuff are revealed, yes, you do need to be paying attention. But until you get to that point, it's nothing where I feel like I have to be, like my brain has to be turned on 100% of the time. Now, I will also occasionally listen to like fiction stories or like contemporary fiction, but mystery thrillers and romance are what I primarily listen to on audio. I also, as you guys know, I read a good number of fantasy books, fantasy, sci-fi. I cannot listen to those on audio. Now, there's a stipulation to that, which I will explain in another question, but for the most part, I can't do it on audio because it just feels like too much is happening, and it is something that I need to sit and read with my eyeballs in order to take it in. There's like a lot of world building, a lot of characters, just a lot happening, and I just feel like I need to sit with that versus listening to it. Next question is, do you look into narrators before you listen, or do you go in blind? I do not look up narrators. I honestly don't even know who narrated the book until after I'm finished, because I do kind of keep like a log of all the books that I read. And so I don't necessarily look up all the information until I'm done. So I typically go in blind. Now, because I've listened to so many audiobooks, I know voices of certain people. And I do think narrators can make or break an audiobook. And I have stopped listening to certain audiobooks because like narrators just did not work out for me. And the narrators that tend to turn me off of audiobooks is if they are too monotone. If they don't have any inflection in their voices or they don't have any emotion, it's just literally just them straight reading. I just cannot listen to that. That is not entertaining to me whatsoever. So no, I don't look up the narrators, but yes, I will stop listening because of narrators. So the next question is, do you multitask while audiobooking? And if so, what else do you do? So yes, I do multitask while listening to audiobooks. A lot of the time I'm at home getting ready to go to work while I'm listening. I'm doing a lot of cleaning. And sometimes I am fortunate enough to actually do a good chunk of my audiobooking while I am at work. I just started a new job back in November. So of course, when a job is new and you're training, you can't do a lot besides just learning the job. But I would say probably starting in like January, because I've gotten so used to my new role, I am now able to just pop in my earphones and listen away. Now, I can't listen from a full shift, but for a good chunk of my shift, I'm able to listen to an audiobook. I can occasionally listen to audiobooks while I'm driving, but I'm a music girl. So when I'm in the car, I like to listen to music, and sometimes I like to dance while I'm listening to music and driving. But I can only probably listen to an audiobook while I'm driving like a short distance. Or if it's something that's just really good, then yeah, I'll pop it in. But other than that, I can't do it while I'm driving. I also will occasionally do adult coloring, which I will listen to audiobooks. I am a huge fan of diamond painting. I have talked about that here on my channel, so I will definitely pop in an audiobook while I'm doing that. So anytime I'm just doing tasks where I don't have to think about the task that I'm doing, I will listen to an audiobook. So this next question is long, so I'm actually gonna have to read it. But it says, if you're reading a series and you listen to the first book, would you ever switch to reading a later book, or do they all need to be listened to? My answer to that is no. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying with like fantasy books. So I can't listen to the first book of a fantasy series the first time through. But like, what's a good example that I can give you guys? So when I read Jade City, I read that physically. And then the second book, Jade War, I read that physically. By the third book, Jade Legacy, I was able to listen to that because I'm familiar with all the characters. Basically, the world building is done and we're just completing out the story. So I was able to listen to that. And that's pretty much how I am with all of my fantasy. Like if I can read the first, maybe the second book physically, I don't mind listening to the rest of it because I'm already familiar with the world and now I'm just here for the plot. So it's easier for me to listen to those. For like mystery thrillers, like if I start a mystery thriller series, if I listen to it the first time, I don't necessarily have to listen to it the second time. It could be physical or audiobook. It doesn't really matter, but the fantasy, that's the one that matters. So the next question is, what percent of the books you're currently consuming are audiobooks? And I'm going to say half. Half of the books that I am consuming, I do listen to them on audio. I don't think I do a very good job, especially in my recent reads, saying every time I actually listen to something. I only tend to point it out if I listen to an audiobook and it was really good, or I listened to an audiobook and it was really bad. So I probably could be a little bit better about letting you guys know exactly what I listened to and what I didn't, because a lot of the books that I listen to, I actually have physical copies of the book. So it just doesn't occur to me to say, hey, I listened to this. But about half, I think last year I read about 125 books. Half of those I listened to. So then we have like a two-part bonus question, and that is, do you have a favorite narrator or audiobook that I have listened to? Yes, I have both. I have favorite narrators and I have some favorite audiobooks that I have listened to. When it comes to the narrators, I have two. So my first one is January Lavoie. She has narrated a ton of audiobooks and I have listened to a lot of the ones that she has narrated. Now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, it's not like she does anything spectacular while she's like reading the books, but her voice is really nice. She uses a lot of emotion and she's not monotone, and she just has a way of like bringing the stories to life. So a couple of the ones that she has narrated is Listen for the Lie, which I think was like a popular one last year, and then a really popular Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. She also narrated that. And those are two books that I really enjoyed. Another narrator that I really enjoy is Bonnie Turpin. And she also narrates a lot of books. And it's just the same. I don't think she necessarily does anything spectacular when she's narrating the books, but I do know I like her voice. Again, just like with January Lavoie, I just like how she has the emotion. She's not monotone. She just has a way of pulling you into the story. She has narrated one of my favorite books, which is one of the ones behind me, which is Wings of Ebony by J.L. Really enjoyed that story, and I think her narration really helped me enjoy that story. And then she also narrated a book, Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon, which is also a really good one and one that I enjoyed her narration. So that is actually all that I have for you guys, but please let me know down in the comments if you enjoy listening to audiobooks and what are some of your favorite books that you have listened to on audio. But I will see you guys next time. Bye!